I'm making a case.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have major breaking news.
All right, let's get started. We got to get started. We got to start the show at some point. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. I didn't mention any of that stuff earlier because I was too busy doing the show to actually pitch the show. So I'm pitching the show again. I'm on the road right now. I'm in LA. I got a show tonight at Flappers for all of our Patreon fans. And tomorrow I'll do the radio show from here. And then back to the house and shows as normal, as it were, next week. Couple of things. So obviously I covered this morning, if you didn't get a chance to watch it, almost as live, the kind of blow up in weirdness around the Zelensky visit to the White House, which everybody was sort of figuring would be an embarrassing capitulation by the Trump administration trying to, secure those mineral rights without any security guarantees, which nobody thought would actually go through. And arguably, I would say that's what happened. All the other stuff was just for show. On top of that, and by the way, hit the like, super chats, great way to support the show. Also, I think, wait, do I have it here as well? Hey, look at that. The Venmo's back. It's up there. And buy me a cup of coffee or something. Here's what I think. After all of this hooey, I am under the impression that a good portion of this stuff is occurring because, let me close this window, because the Epstein files were an absolute flop and the right is flipping out. And Pam Bondi's excuse for why they didn't release the stuff, or why they're releasing stuff that was already available and trying to pretend and push it off as like, oh, the FBI denied her some files, when she actively said, ladies and gentlemen, that she had stuff on her desk. She was just redacting some stuff, but you're not going to believe what this man did, and it's just sick. And then when she released all the stuff and she handed it out to all these right-wing influencers, one of whom actually at one point was wearing a Free Ghislaine shirt. So it would be difficult for me to believe that they are honest and forthcoming in their desire to see Epstein's crimes prosecuted, and those that helped him now that he's allegedly dead and cannot face trial, that those people should go to jail. I'm going to guess you're not that serious if you're wearing a Free Ghislaine shirt and you were welcome to the White House. Like, why would anybody wearing a Free Ghislaine? Because Trump's in the Epstein files. He's in the vast majority of the Epstein files. And so a bunch of these folks all over the right wing were flipping out yesterday and early today about the lack of actual new information in what was released and the weakness of Pam Bondi's excuse. And so I actually think that the Zelensky blow up, beyond the fact that it absolutely plays into what Vladimir Putin wants, and it is completely in line with the fact that they are both, Vance and Trump are both stooges, ball garglers for Vladimir Putin. The Zelensky blow up, I would argue, was to give them cover with their own people. Now, there is a rats leaving the sinking ship aspect that people are expecting somewhere between fuck around and find out in Trump world. And the resilience of these people and their support for him, we will see how far they can take it. But when it comes to the Epstein files, this was something just like, winning the war or having peace in, the Ukraine-Russia war and in Israel-Gaza, by the way, would happen in 24 hours, one phone call, all done. That's it, right? And that has not been the case at all. It is, for those who haven't been checking, it has been well over 24 hours since the election, and well over 24 hours since the inauguration, and well over 24 hours since yesterday. And tomorrow it will be another 24 hours, and they still won't have solved it with one phone call, so easy and beautiful and everything and peace, and it would be glorious and smooth and sexy and whatever. All the promises, again, Trump running as Santa and governing as the Grinch. This is just where he's stuck. Now, why the big blow up with the Zelensky today? Well, first of all, there was no deal to be made. Let's be honest. A lot of these jackasses, that we're talking about, like Trump's going to, come to his senses, make a decent deal or something like that at this stage. But it served a secondary purpose. I think the greater purpose was to draw attention away from the fact that Pam Bondi did a bait and switch with Trump World and tried to sucker them by giving them a bunch of documents they'd already seen before, and not understanding that these assholes will take the digital version, throw it into a AI, and go, oh, same shit. And they'll end up with the same stuff on their websites that they put up before. Same review, all that kind of stuff. Both, I agree, chat room. Trump and Vance are Russian asshats. Sorry, did I mispronounce asset? And again, Vance, maybe. I don't give Trump enough credit to be an agent I think he's just a useful idiot. He's an asshat. Hit the like, share the show, etc., etc., etc. Also, I'll be back on Substack and Instagram on Monday. Now, if you're on YouTube or whatever channel you're watching from, please subscribe. How do you know, Hal? How do you know that this is a big enough deal where they would do this kind of a blow up, this show up, blow up in the White House to cover for something? I'll tell you why. Because let's take a look, shall we, at a couple of the right-wing channels that are out there. Is this the right one? Okay, yeah. Here's Glenn Beck. Hold on. I'm going to show you these videos first. This is treason. Glenn blasts feds who may have been involved in Epstein cover-up. How about Epstein files just dropped? FBI has gone rogue. AG letter says FBI covering up Epstein crimes. This is the assholes, like including DC Drain sucker that were outside there. They got their little take-home binders full of shit they'd already seen and a free hat. Epstein researcher on released files. Epstein files show transparency in Trump administration. This is Newsmax, Rob Schmidt tonight. And then Greg Kelly. Greg unravels the long-awaited Epstein files. They've been planning this shit for weeks because they were promised stuff coming out. So I have no doubt what little weak graphics departments they do have been working on stuff so that they can be ready to do this big expose where they, I have a Venmo over my head, where they have they finally are going to take down, I don't know, Bill Gates and Clinton or whatever. The whole thing, and ignore Trump's quarter-century friendship, best friends, according to Epstein, friendship with Jeffrey Epstein and, of course, Ghislaine Maxwell and their relationship to Kimball Musk and Elon Musk and that crowd. Not to mention the fact that Trump was introduced to his current wife and the girlfriend he was dating right before that by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. We'll get into that in a minute. What do you think the chances are that these guys, and we'll just dip into some of these because I have a show tonight and I can only do an hour for this show. Let's just dip in and see what the reaction is to this stuff. Is it, oh my God, finally? Let's see.
Epstein files, the first chunk, have finally dropped.
The first chunk.
Thank you, President Trump. Thank you, Attorney General Pam Bondi. Thanks goes to the
Thank you, already available shit on the internet.
FBI Director Kash Patel. Everybody who voted for Donald Trump. So much about this guy, what he was up to, misunderstood, not understood at all, unknown.
I don't think it was misunderstood. I would describe what Epstein was up to as misunderstood. I think we understood what he was doing, and it was fucking awful.
How about how...
Oh, you know what? Maybe he's saying that because, obviously, Trump... It was just a misunderstanding. It was a 25-year-long misunderstanding. He just didn't understand that his best friend was a pedophile for a quarter century.
Died. We all know, right? Although some people out there think he's still alive. Maybe we'll find out the answers, the true answers, in this.
Nope.
The first chunk of the Epstein files that dropped today. I don't think it's a game changer.
Really? You don't think it's a game changer?
It looks like our government may have withheld even more documents from the Attorney General and the FBI Director.
Okay, this is, we're going to see this repeated storyline across a bunch of folks. Let's jump into, let's see, this is Rob Schitt and his little video on it. They've definitely put some production value into this. That's Little St. James Island and Epstein and Maxwell. And I don't know why they don't show Trump's plane landing there, but we'll figure it out.
All right, so phase one of the Epstein file.
Okay, this is phase one. Greg Kelly's calling them the first chunk.
Release was a flop. I think we can see that now. 200.
Oh, we can see that now? I don't think so. I think it was all amazing stuff when it came out a fucking year and a half ago.
Just mostly redacted names, flight logs, phone numbers, all around the sex trafficking scandal of Jeffrey Epstein. There was no real smoking gun today. Not nearly the full tranche of records that Pam Bondi indicated that we would see today. The AG now says the FBI is withholding the goods, perhaps.
Yeah, again, first of all, can we just say, no, we're not. That's not acceptable. She was bragging on whose show was it? Jesse Waters' show, that she had the stuff on her desk. They were in the process of redacting it, and then they were going to pass it on. And oh my God, what she's seeing with her own eyes is new information, and this dude was sick. She said that she was going to release stuff that she has in her possession after they simply removed the names of the victims. That was it. That was all of it. There wasn't I'm looking for some other files, and as soon as we have those, the FBI has some stuff that I want to include with this. No. The first batch was exactly what she was referring to, what they said they were redacting from, what she had on her desk to start with, and she released this stuff. There is no separation. There's no variance where I have this stuff and we're redacting it. As soon as I get some extra files, or as soon as I get this thing, I'm waiting on this one other thing. No, she's seen it with her own eyes. They were in the process of redacting it. When you see it, it's going to be shocking and amazing. And it was a dud. And the reason it was a dud was because it was all bullshit. And basically the only thing I could see that they spent any time on in releasing these files was making them illegible. I posted it on my Blue Sky, and I showed a couple of the documents, and I posted the entire justice.gov page where you can go and look at these things. All of these files are already available on the internet. They have already been previously released in the last couple of years. The only difference is these copies are worse. I don't know how that happened. It's not even a matter of redaction. They're just hiding. Okay, so here we go.
Protecting the accused. In a letter to the FBI director, Kash Patel, Bondi ordered all Epstein-related content to be delivered to her by 8 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, and directed Patel to investigate the Southern.
Why didn't she order that a week ago? I thought the whole point was day one, we're going to start doing this stuff. And apparently it's just a fucking phone call or a memo. Who thinks this is, you think batch number 2 is just going to be a total dump of everything that she has? Or are there going to be a bunch of blacked out stuff having to do with people who are currently serving in the administration and have been given a fucking key to the treasury by the administration?
Of New York as well, which he says is withholding thousands of more files. Eric Eggers is the vice president of the Government Accountability Institute and has heavily investigated the Jeffrey Epstein scandal, and he joins us now. What do you think happened today? I heard Pam Bondi say last night that she thought we'd be shocked by this, and then it all falls flat. This is not what people expect from this administration.
Yeah, it's exactly what I expect from this administration. I don't know anybody who would expect any different. Donald Trump was friends with Jeffrey Epstein for 25 years, plus at least 25 years. Well past the time he said they never hung out again. The phone records show that he kept calling him after they allegedly broke off their friendship.
It's not what people expect, and people are.
It's exactly what I expected. It's not what dough-headed maggot morons expected, because they somehow thought that Trump, who Epstein died and/or escaped and/or was murdered, depending on what you believe, was arrested finally during the Trump administration and then just evaporated. Never get a look at him again. Off he goes, cremated there, and then the records just don't show up.
Seen disappointment, and rightfully so. But I do think it's important to understand the fact that we're even having this conversation speaks to the shift that we've seen in terms of the commitment to transparency.
Why? What's the shift? It's a bunch of bullshit. The files that she unsealed, he's even holding up the graphics, fucking embarrassing. All this stuff came out over a year ago. All of it.
On behalf of the Trump administration, I saw some Democrats criticizing Pam Bondi for not releasing things earlier, which I thought was quite laughable, considering the Biden administration sat on these documents.
No, they didn't. They were already out in the public sphere. They didn't have to release them. They weren't the only time the government has a responsibility, I think, to release certain documents is when they're the sole possessor of those documents. You know what I mean? Why would the government have to release copies of a news article they have if the news article was printed in the paper, right? What's the point? How would they be accused of being opaque about anything if they're not the sole possessor of those documents? And in the case of them being a sole possessor of those documents in like the FBI field office in New York, for example, part of that has to do with Ghislaine Maxwell's trial and her appeal. And if she appeals, they can't just release all the stuff and go, okay, well, if she gets a new trial in her first appeal, then we can't have a new trial because we've released all the stuff or whatever. That would be the theory for at least some of this, whether it's the stuff about Epstein, who's dead, or it's to protect his victims as they're getting, payment or dividing up his estate, or Ghislaine Maxwell's possible appeals. Pam Bondi, this didn't even go anywhere near. This should be clear. Like, I don't even know why we're arguing this part of it, because this doesn't even go near what the FBI office in New York has at all. Pam Bondi promised something that she had on her desk, and it was bullshit.
4 years.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the first time the FBI has undermined something the Trump administration was trying to do. It wouldn't be the first time the Southern District of New York office is trying to undermine what they're trying to do. And I think the good news is that, look, they're being honest. This isn't what they thought it would be. They're asking for a full investigation of the FBI.
Why? She released it. She didn't know? Again, this is what they're covering. This is what the whole Zelensky blow up was about. This was we got to make this look like shit. It's got to eat up the news internationally to hide the fact that I'm using my AG to hide the fact that I was friends with this dude. That's what Trump is doing. He's just going to present that as she's just laying down ground cover for him.
The agents that have kept this information, if that's what happened from Kash Patel.
Yeah.
And so I think we'll see what happens by 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes, we will. I look forward to 8 a.m. tomorrow.
And Kash Patel just...
Let me guess, she's going to come out and say, we got some new stuff. It's going to be, oh, my God, shocking. And we'll release it as soon as we go through all of it. And it's a lot of stuff. Oh, my God, it's a lot. And some of it we can't release because it's an ongoing trial. And certainly, the stuff that, we think is probably false, created to just kind of dirty up the president, But everything about other people will dump onto the scene. But anything to do with the current president, he has pardoned himself anyways.
Tweeted like 30 minutes ago, he just tweeted out, this is a new FBI. There's not going to be any more secret documents. He's promising transparency in a tweet that clearly has to do with what we've seen today and clearly the backlash that has come to it. What do you think is going on? Like, are they...
Gee, it couldn't be the fact that Trump and Epstein were buddies for a quarter century. It couldn't be that. Couldn't be that Trump's wife and his girlfriend right before that were introduced to him by Ghislaine Maxwell. Couldn't be that Trump's, he said he never flew on the plane. We find out he's flown at least 7 times. Trump won't release his flight logs. Couldn't possibly be that. It couldn't possibly be that after Trump said they broke it off over this apocryphal bullshit story that Trump didn't like, that Epstein came after the daughter of one of his members at Mar-a-Lago, when, again, like the pathetic nature of the moral depravity that you'd have to live with under the dome of, I don't get why it's better that you're like, look, take advantage of all the poor high school girls in the area, but don't touch any of my private golf club's members' daughters. They're off limits. Go prey on the daughters of meth addicted adults and people who need money or that kind of stuff, or people you can blackmail, whatever. That's fine. Just don't mess with my organization. I don't care about the other stuff. I'll still be buddies with you. I don't know why that makes you morally superior. It just sounds transactional and grotesque.
Is it just that, are they terrified of some of the names that are on that list?
I can think of 2 of them.
Are there very powerful people that are controlling this? I mean, how in the hell is this happening?
Are there very powerful people on that list? Like, I don't know, the president, Elon Musk, and the vice president, Donald Trump?
So one of my favorite phrases is never mistake incompetence for conspiracy. And so while it's possible that the Epstein files may in fact involve some conspiracy, and clearly we believe there's some very powerful people that are involved in this, and that there are names that come to the highest level of society, both globally and in the United States, I think it's also quite possible that, look, these are paper records and these have been scattered around somewhere.
Yeah, it's, guys, come on. You can't expect them to be able to find all the stuff that she said she already had in her possession on her desk right in front of her that she said she had read and actually release that stuff. There's lots of paper. It's Washington, D.C. Can you imagine the amount of paper in that town?
Might still be in Joe Biden's garage. So I think that it's going to take him a little while. We know that there's been an all-out effort on behalf.
If there's any in Joe Biden's garage, it's evidence of Donald Trump stuff, and I guess they'll use it as a choke chain at some point, is the theory?
Deep state to obfuscate and try to counter what the Trump administration has tried to do at every turn. And so I think it's...
What? Hide Trump's connection? Okay. So anyways, you see Rob Schitt's version of this. Let's jump over to, this is Dim Pool over here. Let's see how he does. He covers for Pam Bondi. Do you think it'll be she's incompetent? Maybe she's hiding something. And by the way, thank you, Buddha Eagle, for the super chat earlier today. I hope we answered your question when we were talking about it. But as far as Trump being a Russian asset, I genuinely think, yes, that's true. But this is also, the blow up today was really to cover this news story, which is way worse with maggots. Like, the Zelensky story is big with people we don't like, but and his side cheerleads it. If you look at Shitter right now, all the right wingers are going, finally, somebody's throwing this in Zelensky's face. The anti-Semitism is flying fast and furious over there. Meanwhile, our side is very upset of how he was treated. And that's the kind of news fluff they need to cover for something like this. Because while none of us are surprised by Trump's relationship with Epstein and his own behavior outside of that is disgusting enough for us to write him off as a human being, the right doesn't feel that way. They are, I don't know why, but they are in some deluded fashion expecting truth and reconciliation under Trump and the Epstein world. And it ain't happening. And they're like, why could that be?
This is step one. It is.
Oh, hold on. I'm going to click onto this guy.
Phase 1 of the Epstein files.
Okay, so he's calling it phase 1 as well. So this is part of the talking point they're getting. And Greg, of course, fucked it up. Greg Kelly fucked it up by calling it the first chunk.
Have been released to a handful of prominent personalities. Many have already been discussing the issue. In this image, we can see Haya Rychik, Libs of TikTok, DC Drano, Liz Wheeler, Mike Cernovich, and there are others. Jack Posobiec, I believe, has been talking about this. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say it. I believe the FBI has gone rogue.
Yeah, the whole FBI, everybody. Yeah, we gotta stop going after serial killers and gun runners and drug dealers and child pornographers and all that kind of stuff. The FBI cannot be trusted because Kash Patel, as he's running it at the top, can't get access to files that Pam Bondi told everyone she already had.
We have been provided a letter from an unnamed source.
Well, that's legit. That's all I need to know. You guys need any more chat room? You guys need any more reassurance that it's totally legit?
And it appears that
I'm guessing that's going to be doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Elements of the federal government are intentionally hiding the Epstein documents.
Let's see. Chat room. Elements. Can you think of any elements of the federal government that might be intentionally hiding the elements, intentionally hiding elements of the Epstein files? Is there anybody that would be in a power position in the federal government that might be against, say, the Epstein files getting out? Can anybody think of anybody in a position of power that might go, it wouldn't be good for me if people realized how close they'd been to Jeffrey Epstein and for how long? Anybody? Nobody? I can't. I'm racking my brain. I can't. I can't think of a reason. Can you? Hold on. Whoop. Push the wrong button.
Prevent them from being released.
Why would that be? Why would somebody in the government want to prevent those files from being released? I wish someone knew.
This is a degree of shocking
that no one feels. Who the fuck is shocked? Dude, why would anybody be shocked that not only did Epstein get arrested and die or disappear or break out or be replaced by a corpse that vaguely looks like him or escape or whatever he did with the cameras off and the guards asleep and all that kind of stuff while Trump's in office, and foof, and magically the files that he had, the compromise on everybody, just magically vanishes at the exact same time. And then the actual records that we're seeing released were actually released under the Biden administration, and when Trump gets back into office, it's a bunch of like, well, I think I might release some of it, but there's a lot of phony stuff in there. I probably wouldn't. JFK and MLK, yeah, totally. But I mean, there's a lot of phony stuff. You don't want people to be upset by what's released about them, and that wouldn't be good. I would feel like that wouldn't be good. Shocked. Get the fuck out of here.
Cannot begin to describe. I'm not going to bury the lead or wait. I've got it right here. This letter, again, provided to me from an unnamed source. Office of the Attorney General, Washington, D.C., 20530, February 27th, 2025. Let me read you this shocking letter.
I don't know that it's shocking. I think what is it shocking that it wasn't complied with from Kash Patel as soon as he got in? So he's part of it. The other part, I guess, would be, like, why wouldn't he be on top of that? Maybe because he doesn't respect or listen to Pam Bondi. Also, Pam Bondi, this is not her only way of getting this material. She can contact the offices that are engaged with it directly. I'm not shocked at all. No one's shocked. No one.
That reads, Dear Director Patel, before you came into office, I requested the full and complete files related to Jeffrey Epstein. In response to this request, I received approximately 200 pages of document.
Really? There's like 300 pages available online already.
Which consisted primarily of flight logs,
which are also already available.
List of contacts, and a list of victims' names and phone numbers.
Yeah, the Epstein Black Book, which was also, there's two versions of it. Both were already available. One, a person found on the street, which is kind of fucking amazing. Like, that whole backstory is nuts.
Repeatedly requested, I repeatedly questioned whether this was the full set of documents responsive to my request, and was repeatedly assured by the FBI that we had received the full set of documents. Late yesterday, I learned from a source that the FBI field office in New York was in possession of thousands of pages of documents related to the investigation and indictment of Epstein. Despite my repeated requests, the FBI never disclosed the existence of these files.
Yeah, but that's not what you told people was coming out anyways. You can't even blame it on this lack of files. She didn't say, this is all I have, and it's, and it's shit you've already seen before. She said she convinced everybody this was all new, that this stuff was going to come out and they were going to be blown away by it. She lied. She lied. They tried to, like, gutter swap this shit from the stuff that's already on the internet and put out a quote unquote official version of it that's barely legible. That's what this is for. Take the documents that are out there that clearly show Donald Trump's name on the flight logs, release a shit copy of the flight logs where you can barely make out any of the names at all, and release that instead so that the news will reference this, and when they show it on TV, people go, I can barely see the names, and lose interest.
When you and I spoke yesterday, you were just as surprised as I was.
This doesn't sound like a cover your ass letter at all.
Learn this new information. By 8 a.m. tomorrow, February 28th, the FBI will deliver the full and complete Epstein files to my office, including all records, documents, audio and video recordings, and materials related to Jeffrey Epstein and his clients, regardless of how such information was obtained.
Okay, so basically you're just trying to help Ghislaine Maxwell avoid prison, and then if you obtain it and you find out that, fruit of the poison tree or a poorly worded warrant or something like that, once Trump is busted, he can use that as an excuse to get out from under it. I see. So you're basically creating a mixture of plausible deniability and get out of jail free card by demanding a lowered standard of how evidence ends up in your possession, so that if Trump is on the hook for it, which he clearly is, his lawyers can claim there's no chain of evidence. P.S. Where's Hunter Biden's laptop? Anybody? Who has it? Who has it this week? Somebody's got to have the Hunter Biden laptop available to him. And thank you, Jen. And thank you, Rocky Mountain Mike. Bless you for that. For the super chats, you guys. All right, and I don't know why maybe if I close this and reopen it. The comments and reactions. There we go. For some reason, it wouldn't start up again. It's a weird thing with this. Occasionally, the comments don't show. Maybe I have to close this part. Oh, maybe it's also. Am I in preview mode? I'm not. Am I? Okay, good. I'm all right.
There will be no withholdings or limitations to my or your access. The Department of Justice will ensure that any public disclosure of these files will be done in a manner to protect the privacy of victims and in accordance with the law, as I have done my entire career as a prosecutor.
Let me guess. Trump wrote an executive order that he didn't tout that said, I now consider it the law that anything that mentions me in the Epstein files has to be officially redacted. And so when she says she's following the law, she would be following that executive order. Or maybe there was a spoken executive order. The president has decided to come up with a whole new category. If he just tells you it's basically an executive order, since he's the executive and it's an order.
I am also directing you to conduct an immediate investigation into why my order to the FBI was not followed.
Could it be that there are two people in extreme positions of power in the United States that are both implicated in it repeatedly that might have something to do with that? Maybe there was a phone call that from someone above you with higher clearance and that had more control and actually could issue an order that would hold it back. Maybe. I don't know who. Can anybody think of somebody that might be?
You will deliver to me a comprehensive report of your findings and proposed personnel action within 14 days.
Yeah, you got 2 weeks. Right? This is due immediately after Trump's concepts of a plan for health care.
I appreciate your immediate attention to this important matter. I know that we are both committed to transparency.
Yeah.
American people, and I look forward to continuing to work with you to serve our president and our country.
Well, I mean, Musk is implicated in him too. He's friends with Ghislaine, and his brother dated one of the girls that and was in a relationship with one of the girls who was kept at the basically the underage sex slave farm that Epstein operated up in Manhattan. Again, Epstein's house is, for whatever reason, always less than a 9-minute cab ride from Donald Trump their entire time in New York and in West Palm Beach. Weird.
Ladies and gentlemen, excuse me.
You're not excused. I can't think of a reason to excuse you. I'll work on it, but I can't come up with one. I don't know why you would think anybody would be outraged by this. I would also like to point out that wherever he's reading this article from is from Rumble. Somebody else's site on Rumble, so I borrowed it from there.
I cannot say it any more clearly. I see this, and my immediate reaction is there are rogue criminal elements in the FBI acting outside the structure of our government.
Why, if it's outside the structure of the government, would not be involving a case that implicates the president?
That is it. We have elected a president. He has appointed. He has gotten them confirmed, his cabinet members. They have given lawful orders to our law enforcement federal apparatus.
Right. And could it be, I'm just floating this here, there's a possibility, that he himself has called those people and overridden the lawful orders by his cabinet officials as president, because they work under him. he calls the FBI and says, don't you dare, but you can't tell anybody. Just hide it. And you don't have it. Just pretend you don't have it. And he doesn't tell Pam Bondi because he gives her plausible deniability. He doesn't tell Kash Patel because he doesn't have to. And he calls the people who might have those records and go, don't release those records. It's in national security. That's easy, right? That's within the structure of the government you voted for, dum-dum.
They have denied the Attorney General of these United States access to information pertaining to Jeffrey Epstein and his criminal enterprise.
Yeah, and I think the obvious reason would be because they obviously are Trump sycophants, right? There's no reason we would think they would not do it. There's no reason Kash Patel would not do something Trump wants them to do. There's no reason Pam Bondi would not do something Trump wants them to do. So clearly, Trump doesn't want them to do it.
The question is why?
Because Trump is all over the files?
This letter says to me so much.
So much. So much.
That it doesn't need to happen.
The letter doesn't need to happen?
It says, Dear Director Patel.
Yeah, you read it already.
Stress this. I repeatedly questioned whether this was the full set of documents responsive to my request and was repeatedly assured by the FBI that we had received the full set of documents.
By the FBI who? You reached out to Kash Patel, right? And he lied to your face, I guess?
She says they learned later that the field office in New York was in possession of thousands of pages and they never disclosed them. And she is saying, I want an investigation as to why they did not.
Bam! Boom! I have an idea, because Trump was Jeffrey Epstein's best friend, and they were thick as thieves, and they were both engaged in disgusting behavior together, and there's plenty of evidence, including recordings of Trump and his buddies hanging out with them, and Trump's, seized that stuff, that information, had it moved to a special wing or put in a skiff so he could hide it from everybody else. I mean, I'm just saying, I look forward to whatever Kash Patel, whatever bone he throws her, but let me tell you, that stuff's going to be heavily redacted too, and wherever Trump's name shows up. And okay, let's go. Let's see. Okay. It's Jay-Z. This would be the National Review case. This is okay. Yeah, here you go. This would be as if Donald Trump didn't have enough legal problems. This is in 2016. And bad juju. Now he has another headache to deal with. A lawsuit filed yesterday in federal court in New York accusing him, along with billionaire Jeffrey Epstein, of raping a 13-year-old girl in 1994 at a party at Epstein's place. The allegations are quite lurid, reek of a similar underage sex slavery charges made against Epstein. The lawsuit itself is not likely to go very far. It appears to be a rehash of a suit previously dismissed in California. The statute of limitations has long since run out, which, that's what innocent people always attach to. Requiring the Jane Doe plaintiff to offer creative arguments for why she should be able to bring this up now. There ended up being a change in the law that allowed survivors to go back, have another bite at the apple, largely related to this stuff. That said, there's no statute of limitation on politics. Is there anything to this? We know on one hand that nasty truths come out about political figures. As a thrice married, admitted adulterer, Trump's history does inspire a lot of confidence in there, from bragging about betting married women to his comments to Howard Stern about watching Paris Hilton's sex tape, to his weird habit of commenting on the sex appeal of his own daughter, to embracing convicted rapist Mike Tyson, to defending Bill Clinton himself and his sex scandals in the 90s, just to pick a few examples. We know, on the other hand, that bogus sex scandals follow just everyone who makes it to the national level in politics. Offhand, I believe Mitt Romney may have been the only major party nominee in the past 25 years who never had anybody in the press try to shop a sex scandal story. Voters might mostly gave the benefit of the doubt to Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio when flimsy sex stories were run against them in the primaries. I mean, I don't remember George W. Bush or H.W. Bush or Reagan and whatever. Okay, or Obama for that matter. Trump's statement at the time about the original was a blanket denial, which extended as far as questioning whether the plaintiff even existed. The allegations are not only categorically false, but disgusting at the highest level and clearly framed to solicit media attention, or perhaps are simply politically motivated. There's absolutely no merit to these allegations. Period. So whether you, and I love how the National Review puts Clinton's name in this, because Jeffrey Epstein is apparently, that's who they mean by billionaire sex buddy. He was way closer to Donald Trump. Way closer. They hung out all the time. They were very close. So I don't know why it wouldn't be. Is there anything in the lawsuit accusing Donald Trump of raping a 13-year-old girl with his billionaire sex buddy, Jeffrey Epstein? Right? They threw Bill Clinton's name in there to run interference against Donald Trump. And again, if both guys were involved in it, I don't give a shit. Go away. If Bill Clinton was engaged in that kind of behavior, fuck him. Who cares? Nobody cares. Go. It's gross. It's disgusting. My values don't change just because somebody pretended to have them. This is dumb. So this in particular, this is in those files. This stuff is in those files. The stuff that's going to come across Pam Bondi's desk is going to have a copy of this lawsuit. Let's see if they bring up the actual. Yeah, Jane Doe files civil rape complaint against Trump in New York court. Look at that, and they put it behind a paywall. Way to run interference, guys. So that's why. That's, and again, do you think when they get those files, and that will be included in them, that Pam Bondi will release that stuff publicly from an official federal government account, from the justice.gov website? Do you think they're going to put that lawsuit in with that, all of it? She asked for all of it. Tim Drool over here read the whole fucking thing. Everything you've got. I don't care where you got it from. Well, guess what?
This is the FBI field office in New York. This is, I believe. Let me pull this up. I want to make sure I'm getting the location right. FBI field office, New York. I believe.
Yes, that's where SDNY is, Southern District of New York. Has to be the Southern District of the New York State, and Manhattan being in the Southern District.
That's in Manhattan.
Yeah, it is. We know where Trump lived and committed most of these crimes.
They have numerous field offices in New York. This is, let's see, the FBI building. I'm pretty sure it's New York.
Really? What was your first clue? The part where she asked in the document, it says New York? I think it's right. Yeah, the part where it says FBI field office in New York. Is that all right? Come on. Are we watching this young man learn to read on television? It's very inspiring.
It is. This is the Southern District of New York.
Yes, it is. That's right. Which I believe is in New York, if I'm not mistaken. This in the southern part of New York compared to other parts that are more northern, it would seem.
I don't know how much this overlaps.
With what? The rest of New York?
But these are the same. This is New York. This is where Donald Trump
lived. A 9-minute cab ride from Jeffrey Epstein's building that Epstein was given to by Les Wexler or whatever his name was for $1. A $70 million home that he got for $1. Across the street from a place where he kept these underage girls in New York City that were foreign. He kept their passports so they couldn't escape, where Kimball Musk met his girlfriend. I'm fairly certain that was the neighborhood.
Falsely convicted, falsely accused of what was it, civil fraud by the state.
No, he was actually convicted by a jury.
Same place that went after James O'Keefe. This is...
And won.
Insane.
No, it's not. It's not. I mean, it's insane that you seem to think that Donald Trump being president would result in more transparency about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, not less.
I have no words.
Thank God. You know what? Let's just call it a day, shall we? Meanwhile, over here in dipshit town, this is treason. Glenn blasts feds who may be involved in the Epstein cover-up. I think the president is considered a fed, right? He's a federal official. He's the top federal official, I think, right? Is that how it works? All right, let's see. So this is treason. Tell us how Donald Trump circumventing Payam Bondi and Kash Patel and calling these people and go, don't you dare release this stuff to them. And those people sitting in on a meeting with nobody taking notes going, look, I'm going to tell them not to release shit to you, and you're going to just pretend to be outraged.
Treason, which I have never made before that I can remember.
Yeah,
He says treason all the time. Of course you do.
a big deal. You usually very much stay away from this sort of thing. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd never make accusations of something like this. Seriously.
I mean, I'm interested to see where this goes.
I don't know. Out the window, up his ass.
So let me pick up on what we have seen, because we have watched those in power twist the rule of law into a weapon against the innocent.
Okay, he's reading off a piece of paper, so he had to consume these thoughts in a way. So this is Glenn using ChatGPT. Like, take my stupid idea and make it sound more like news.
While shielding the guilty over and over and over again.
Hey, what can I tell you? You know, Trump was in office when Epstein was arrested. He died in jail or vanished or escaped or whatever he did, and then the evidence disappeared. And now that Trump's back in office, you're getting the flim flam from the people he's put in office. Meanwhile, all the information that you do have was released under the Biden administration.
The Biden laptop.
Yeah.
Whistleblowers who just told the truth, destroyed by our FBI and DOJ.
Sorry, where's this laptop? What laptop are we talking about?
The guilty over and over and over again. The Biden laptop. Innocent whistleblowers.
Sorry, but there's just a Biden laptop. It's a family-owned one. You're not even calling it the Hunter Biden laptop anymore. It's just collectively owned by the Bidens.
Just told the truth, destroyed by our FBI and DOJ.
I'm sorry. Were they obliterated? Were they get shot by a laser from DARPA?
To find out later that those whistleblowers were correct.
Like who?
That the FBI and DOJ had known those things were true for years.
What things?
But it didn't matter to them.
No, of course not. It doesn't matter that they knew these things were true, that we don't know what he's talking about, but we assume because he said Biden laptop that they must be related, and yet they aren't. By the way, Trump's been in office for 38 days now, 37, something like that. And where's the laptop? I mean, the actual one, the physical one. Where is it? I'm sure hey, parade that motherfucker. Soon as you guys figure out whether or not the sticker on that says Beau Biden Cancer Foundation is a plastic laminate one or a fabric one that was a backstage pass for an event, and that's what was stuck on it, and you can't remember or you don't know or it's made up. As soon as you figure out, because you don't want to fuck that up, and you'd have to do a little bit of research, and you're too busy, I guess, redacting Trump's name from Epstein documents to do that. I'm dead serious. Where the fuck is this laptop that they allege exists? The only person I've ever seen go, I would like to enter the laptop into evidence was Matt Gaetz, and he was holding up a hard drive that he got from Rudy Giuliani that was named laptop.
It protected their power. We've seen medical professionals now not just run what I believe is the largest medical experiment at scale.
Oh, I'm sorry. So COVID, which again, the censorship around COVID, Operation Warp Speed, which I beg your pardon, Operation Fart Steed,
Captain's log.
Started under Trump, and it's one of the reasons why none of these assholes trust the vaccine is because it was made too fast, even though Trump, again, called it Operation Fart Steed.
Captain's log.
Yeah. Which is why people don't trust it, because it seemed rushed. Operation Warp Speed sounds like you're not really checking safety first. You're just in a big fucking hurry. And you want everybody to know you're in a big fucking hurry. That doesn't stand, but that's Biden's fault. Yes? That's Biden's fault? Okay.
Scale that Mengele would have never imagined.
No, I think there's nothing that Mengele couldn't imagine. He was a very imaginative fellow. The dude experimented on twins, for fuck's sake.
And forced the twisted cures after creating the curse of COVID.
Sorry, you mean ivermectin? You mean proof that we have that Joe Rogan and anybody that was helped by taking ivermectin clearly had worms and just announced it to the world?
All in the name of their god, money and power.
Yes, something Trump is disgusted by.
But those same...
As is Elon Musk. I think both of them, with the money and the power. Who wants it?
Trusted medical professionals then committed treason, I believe, against the most sacred and the precious among us, our children. They began to butcher and mutilate children under the banner of progress.
I think that's a trans thing.
Prosecutors have targeted parents who dare protect their children.
No. Nobody was ever been targeted for protecting their children. If they threatened to blow up the vice principal's car at a meeting, they might have gotten a fucking phone call, as you would.
Bureaucrats amass wealth and influence.
Listen to this asshole just like reading this weird little monologue. This is ChatGPT, by the way. This is or Grok probably. This is Grok. Like, if Elon Musk wanted me to do a monologue on my show, what would be in it? And that's what he's reading. This is exactly what he's reading.
Selling you out. Now, when it comes to the Epstein files,
Trump is all over them.
The tapes, the documents, the proof of evil
that Trump was involved in. Yes, again, proof of evil. And I've said it before, and I will say it again, and I will keep saying it until everybody says it. Here's the thing. How long, maggots in the chat room, if you're there, trolls, anybody who actually supported or voted for Trump in your deluded state, I'm going to try and break through with you right now. How long would you be friends with Jeffrey Epstein before you knew he was a pedophile? A year? 2 years? 5 years? 7 years? 10 years? 12? 13, 17 years. Would it take you 20 years, 22 years? Would it take you 24 years? Would it take you a quarter century to figure out Jeffrey Epstein's a pedophile? I probably should lose his number. Because Trump's still not convinced. He thinks Ghislaine Maxwell, who helped Jeffrey Epstein procure victims, is innocent and a victim of the system. And so these guys pretending to give a shit is the biggest farce you've ever seen.
Away, not to protect justice, but to protect the powerful.
Yes, like the president of the United States, the currently sitting president, the head of the Republican Party, the best friend of the fucking Saudis and Vladimir Putin. Shut the fuck up.
That's not incompetence. That is not negligence.
No, that's standard maggot Trump world.
This is a calculated assault on everything that we hold dear.
You allegedly hold dear because you can't support Trump and actually give a shit about these things at all. Shut the fuck up. Like, you don't actually care. Don't pretend you give a fuck about what happens to children when you've defended Donald Trump, who was friends with Jeffrey Epstein for that long, and looked the other way or was comfortable with it. Shit, you have Jim Jordan on your goddamn show. I don't want to hear it.
I have always said, when you negotiate or when you are serious about something, never, ever threaten.
What? When you're serious about something, never, ever threaten. Apparently, Trump hasn't gotten the memo. Did you see the bullshit today?
Make promises.
And then what? Break them?
Oh, this is a promise, not a threat. This is a certainty.
Uh-oh. Anybody else feeling nervous right now? Glenn's coming for us.
Those in the deep state should understand.
You mean Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and Elon Musk and the Doge bags and everybody that Trump has put in there to stand between the will of the voters in the House and the Senate and the people they represent and the SCOTUS itself, and real accountability in government that protects him from the comeuppance that he deserves in being friends with Jeffrey Epstein, and effectively he should have been a co-defendant for years. You mean that? You mean that deep state?
Things have changed. The American people are waking up, and every day more eyes are open, more voices will rise and join the voices of those who are awake. More hearts burn with the realization that this cannot stand.
That's not true, are they? Yeah, well, I mean, maybe on our side of the aisle, sure. Yeah. I mean, every time Trump fucks up more, we're increasingly enraged or whatever. But your side is completely comfortable with this shit, you dummy.
And this administration
is run by a guy who was Jeffrey Epstein's best friend, according to Jeffrey Epstein.
This clear-eyed, resolute administration.
Very clear-eyed, resolute in making sure that none of the stuff about Trump and his relationship with Epstein sees the light of day if they can help it.
Is unlike anything I have, and I think most people have seen in their lifetime.
Yes, that's true. I've never seen someone who was an open and avowed friend of a convicted pedophile. Two of them, by the way. You know what? I apologize, Glenn. I've been selling him short. I've been really focusing on the fact that Epstein was the main pedophile in Trump's life. When Roy Cohn, famously said, Roy Cohn, people will know that Roy Cohn wasn't a gay man. Cohn was a straight man who fucked boys. That was the Roy Cohn quote, I think, right? And Trump considered him his mentor. So that's two. Maybe Glenn needs a third. Maybe that's what it is. You get a mulligan on the first two pedophiles you're friends with for decades. And that you still, by the way, tout as like he still builds up Roy Cohn's bona fides around those, in his business circles, and talks about how amazing he was.
They will not and must not play the games of the past. They will not and cannot.
What the fuck is this diatribe? Grow the fuck up, man.
Negotiate with those who barter our future for their own.
Our future.
Gain. They will and must not look away from the crime.
Musk not, I think, is the ironic. Yeah.
People, the powerful people that are protected by a corrupt division or agents of the FBI.
You mean like Donald Trump under his own orders?
They will and they must end the game that this country has been playing for the powerful and the elites, not on some levels, but on every single level.
Okay, so Glenn Beck is calling for the resignation of Donald Trump then?
Must come to an end.
Yes, I completely agree. Let's just get him out of there right away. Look at you, Glenn. We share something. This is great.
A lot of people don't know.
Oh, shut the fuck up. People don't know that I have pain. Right. Golf pain, something, right?
I believe.
The children are our future. But they're also Donald Trump's past.
Based on, well, if I were president.
That's adorable.
Based on what we've seen with the...
If you were president, you would release these things. Because, Glenn, you're not in them. Bless your stupid, pudgy, gelatinous, I guess, clogged little heart.
FBI, just on this, let alone all the other things we've seen just in the last week.
You haven't seen shit in the last week.
That today, because there was an 8 a.m. deadline, or perhaps this weekend, you should see the first steps, the arrests at the highest echelons of the FBI and DOJ.
Yeah, that's what they're going to do. They're going to get some files that are sitting on his fucking desk that Trump told them not to deliver. And They're going to get him, and Pam Bondi's going to have 2 weeks to go, well, can't say that. Well, can't say that. Well, can't say that. And Glenn wants people rounded up and fucking arrested. Dude, they can't even find the 10 million illegals that are allegedly running around. Aren't there 20 to 25 illegals and, million illegals in the country? And whatever, Homan's got, 23,000 arrests, which is right in line with the Biden administration and the Obama administration, too. Shit, the only administration that's had lower numbers besides Bush is the last Trump administration.
Not out of spite, but out of duty.
Sorry.
These people should be perp walked if this is true.
I agree. Let's get Trump in an orange jumpsuit with cuffs on.
Handcuffs on those who think that they are untouchable. No.
I'm saying, sorry, you're arresting people for how they think? Cool. Sounds great. Sounds very free to me.
As vengeance, but as justice.
Sure, I agree. Justice for the victims of Trump and Epstein. Sure.
The rule of law and the Constitution demands it. The Constitution itself requires it. And I think we, the people, deserve it.
I got to say, I preferred the old Glenn where he would just kind of ramble and sniffle and drink a big Sonic milkshake while he was doing the show and stuff. These little Grok/ChatGPT monologues are boring. And it's like look, dude, you're never going to be Obama. You're never going to rouse people with your speech. No one is ever going to listen to Glenn Beck and go, oh, my God, ever. That's not happening. Find another way to communicate.
And if it doesn't happen when our FBI is in open rebellion, then come next week, we need to demand why. Why?
Why? Why would the FBI run by Kash Patel and the Justice Department run by Pam Bondi under Donald Trump not be completely forthcoming about the Epstein files? I'm racking my fucking brain. Does anybody know?
Isn't this happening? If they're in open rebellion, why haven't you shut that office down?
I'm going to go with because they aren't. They're actually following the orders of the president.
And listen, if you are one of those people who have chosen the path of defiance, hear my promise to you clearly.
Uh-oh, Glenn's gonna come for y'all. Look out. Oh, shit. If you hear that waddle coming up behind you, it sounds like the penguin with wet, squishy feet. That's Glenn. He's coming for you. Check your 6, FBI.
You continue down this road at your own peril.
Bam. Glenn, there it is. There's the news of the night. Glenn Beck is threatening to kill FBI agents who don't act quickly enough, even if they have been told not to act at all by the sitting president.
Times have changed.
Don't go shonging.
You are not the rulers of this country. You are its servants.
Uh-oh, now we're getting kinky.
The country doesn't belong to you. It belongs to us.
To we the people.
All of us.
Which would include you. So, I don't know how that works. So you're saying the FBI aren't citizens. Maybe that's the problem. Glenn, there you go. Maybe the FBI has been overrun by illegal immigrants. Everybody who works there is like, no habla inglés. Right? Is that what you think?
Both Republican, Democrat, and yes, even those smart enough to lead the way away from those two imposters and become independent, beholden only to the truth and to the Constitution and her people.
I wish I should have. Let's see. I probably do have it. Hold on 1 second. I have to move it over here. There we go. Try to put this up here. I'm sure. Yeah, we need like proper audio for his speech. I think it's this one, right? Yeah, pretty close.
This people, we the people,
This people, these people, you people, the people, some people. I believe the children are our peoples.
first in human history, created a constitution that you swore to uphold, not to subvert.
Oh, I see. It's a mistake anybody can make.
You've mistaken your positions.
I would never mistake my positions. Well, it happened once. I was pulled over, and a police officer told me to assume the position. I was way off.
For power, your influence for invincibility.
My influence or invincibility. Why would you need influence if you were invincible? I'm overthinking it. That's what it's.
But the tide has turned.
Sure it is. The turd is tied.
The American spirit, no matter what you did to it,
Yeah, you spanked it.
battered, beat it up, it's not unbroken.
No, it isn't. It's a little ragged. It smells. I think it was in the washing machine too long before you put it in the dryer, so it's got a bit of a mildew thing. You might want to run it again. I'm just saying. On steam.
In fact, it is rising to meet you.
Boing, yoing, yoing, yoing. Why don't I have a boing? Why in the world don't I have a boing sound effect? Just so wrong. I have to. No. It's got to be in here somewhere. God damn it. During time, I'm like that. No. I need a sound set too. No, that wouldn't be it. Yeah, I've got to find it. I'll do it later. I'll create a boing, yoing, 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 yoing. Just assume it. Boing, yoing, yoing, yoing.
And this time, because it knows exactly the evil it's dealing with,
Yeah, it does. It does, whatever it is.
especially if you are covering the crimes of sex with minors, we understand that is evil.
Yeah, I completely agree, Glenn. Hang on one second. I want to look up something. I need to check something real quick. Let's see. I don't know why anybody would, let's see, like anybody would cover up that kind of stuff. Obviously, can't be trusted, right? We don't, these kind of gatherings, you wouldn't put up with this kind of stuff, would you? For years, if you didn't know, you know what I mean? And if you know, you wouldn't cover up for that kind of stuff over time. Look, he met him just once a day for 6 years. Sure, why not? Yeah, there you go. Okay, it's all right. Yeah, they just hung out and stuff. Never mind the fact that this guy, whatever his real name is co-owner of Twitter. So if you use Twitter, you're putting money in his pocket to pay for his defense. Not a big deal, but, it is a thing. Just saying. All right, what was this again?
This administration, backed by the will of the majority of those who voted, will not flinch. You think Donald Trump's going to flinch? You think Donald...
Yeah, I think he's flinching. I think that's exactly what the complaint is. I think he's... And again, did you not see the Fox interview where he said he wasn't going to release the Epstein files because there's a lot of phony stuff in there?
Trump's afraid of you? Donald Trump will act legally, constitutionally, but decisively to restore what you seek to dismantle.
What? The wall protecting him from finding out?
In this, evidence goes missing all of a sudden. Tapes vanish. Files are shredded.
All of a sudden, largely this stuff is said to have evaporated in 2019 when Trump was president and Epstein was arrested. When the FBI raided his under Trump after he'd fired Comey and replaced him with his dude, the stuff went missing. It didn't go missing in the mid. Why the fuck would Biden hide it, you dummy?
Happens.
If Trump is the savior and Biden hates his guts and wants to bring down America, why would he hide the stuff on Trump.
What happens? Do you think this president does nothing?
Nothing worthwhile, sure.
If that happens, this president has every right, and in fact, the duty demand accountability and then put those people up for trial. But I believe, for the first time in my life, I believe that trial should be a trial of treason.
Boom. A trial of treason. Donald Trump, according to Glenn Beck, ladies and gentlemen, who's oddly licking his lips as he's talking about this kind of barf, believes Donald Trump is guilty of treason. I guess the headline, breaking, Glenn Beck says Donald Trump guilty of treason.
If it is proven that you aided and abetted the worst of humanity.
You're kidding, right? I mean, dude, for real? This is, we're going to go, hold on. Aided and abetted. There you go. Really? We're just going to go that whole route. We're just going to, we'll just jump straight into this while this is loading, and then we'll jump back to here and here. Reload, you crazy thing. There you go. We're just, sorry, what were you saying, Glenn? About aiding and abetting the worst in humanity? What was this?
If it is proven that you aided and abetted the worst of humanity, that you shielded those who preyed on the defenseless, betrayed your oath for either your personal gain or for someone else's elite privileges,
sure,
then treason isn't just a word. Treason is a charge.
Boom, is a charge. Well, he'll put it on his card, I have no doubt.
And the courts, not the mobs, not the machines, will weigh the evidence.
Yeah, that's what they did with Ghislaine Maxwell and what they were going to do with Jeffrey Epstein, but Epstein died or escaped under Trump, and Ghislaine Maxwell, Trump wished her well. So
2 witnesses, an overt act. That's the bar.
That's all you need? Two witnesses? I'm fairly certain. I mean, did these 2 count as witnesses, or were they participants? Maybe you have to find somebody else. I mean, there were a lot of people at that party, so, I mean, how about any of these folks? There's 2 over here. How about this couple? How about these people over here? How about whoever the photographer was? How about that? There's more than 2 witnesses in this situation. Files released. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. Look at these assholes holding up their little binders, which, by the way, are very small compared to what Greg Kelly was holding up. Isn't that weird? They were given these binders, and Greg Kelly held up these giant, like, printed out pages. Was there like a few pages, like a summary, and then they got a thumb drive and a folder for the thumb drive? Is that what that was? Did you get the idea, though, that they attacked Zelensky today to draw attention away from this shit? Because the right wing is flipping the fuck out. That Kash Patel and Pam Bondi are in on it. The fix is in to protect the powerful. And Donald Trump really, really wants all the information about Jeffrey Epstein to come out. But God damn it.
Cross it.
The deep state is stopping him.
Consequences are yours and yours alone.
Listen to this whole fucking written monologue from this dickhead.
No one should interpret anything I've said as trying to create fear.
No. Never. I mean, obviously, treason, you're killed for that, but whatever.
I've been very careful on what I've said because this is about clarity. Evil must be stopped. And
sure, I guess. I mean, yeah. Just a lot of that. I guess what you mean by evil is, something that happened on a laptop that you've never
Don't
seen.
stop it with chaos or mobs. You stop it with constitutional order.
Okay, so maybe the FBI field office at SDNY has a legal reason why they haven't shared it with the Justice Department, because they're in an ongoing investigation to deal with whether or not Epstein's actually dead, or whether Ghislaine Maxwell can have an appeal or any of that. So to make sure that they keep her in jail and get to the bottom of whatever happened to him, they're not sharing stuff with people that were part and parcel to the crime when it happened the last time.
Don't do it with vigilantes. You do it with the law, the Bill of Rights, the constitutions, the principles of liberty. They're not suggestions. They're the bedrock of our nation.
All right, this is just lazy. I got to say, like, all of these assholes
And Pam Bondi was phase one.
are like phase one, are all like just tap dancing around this. And thanks, Andrea, for putting this. This would be, let's see if this is it. Yeah, this is the Epstein docs as they like currently exist. Like everything that's available, that's been around for a long time. All the and the interesting part. Let's see if I can show you this. Let's see if we scroll down, because some of this is Jeffrey stuff. This is the flight log should be further down here. These are after the lawsuits. Yeah, here you go. So see these? See the quality of these in here? This is this is specific to her or whatever. But you can see how the writing is very dark and easily readable on this. Look how dark these things are. Look how clear they are in these documents, right? Let me see. Let me put this over here so you can blow this up. Now, what I want to do is, give me 1 second, and then I'm going to sign off early because I've got a show tonight. Let's see. Justice.gov Epstein files, something like that. Okay. Justice Department, okay, Attorney General Pam Bondi releases first. There you go. First phase. This is why they're all saying phase one, because they're on the team. Let me show you what the stuff looks like that she released, and we'll compare these two. Let me put this in here. Okay, hold on. Let me get rid of this, and then go back to this. Here you go. Let's check this out, shall we? Give me 1 second. Hide this. This is Attorney General Pam Bondi releases first phase of declassified Epstein files. Now, she knew this was the first phase or whatever, but here's the flight log released in U.S. v. Maxwell, part 1 through 6. By the way, these are all from the New York trial. SDNY had these. Contact book redacted, masseuse list redacted. The fact they call them masseuses is gross. I mean, underage victim list, I think is how you would do it, but and then evidence list, which is just blather. Like this is just shit that's on. Like this actually just shows how many envelopes they have. They took these things and then they wrapped these things in red envelopes and cellophane to preserve them, or he did, and they were like wrapped in these things to protect them. And this is like a huge hard drive, 100 hard drives, one Seagate path, 100 hard drives, whatever. Like, I don't even know that 100 gig hard drives, 100 hard drives in it. Like, good Lord. All this kind of stuff. But point being is this is the evidence list. So fucking what? Unless we see what's in the evidence, what does this tell you? A size 8 black women's cowboy boots in a box? That's evidence? Right. Okay. So that's the first thing on there. Then you look at the flight logs, and you'll notice some of them are dark like this, but the rest of them are oddly shitty. Like there's a mix of just blurred, especially like this stuff. Look at that. Like unreadable. And there are a bunch of them of Trump's that are clear in these documents, right? But they are blurry in her copy. See, here's where there's some darker ones, and these are faded. There's a mishmash. Look at this one. Just like this, somehow it's like, I don't know why. This is barely legible. Look at this page. Excellent. You know, you're not going to go in there and like clean that shit up? Shocking, I tell you. Look at this one. Dates are all over the place. Here you go. Then we get into the well-copied ones. Here's some more. And again, Trump is in some of these. Maybe it's just because it goes back further than he admits. Is that what we're going with? And let's see if this is 1,000 pages. Page 960, page 963. Exhibits under seal in the Joffrey case. Like, this is a ton of stuff. And this is just I think this is just the legal filing parts of it, yes? Yeah. Filed under seal. That's her ID when she was underage. What it includes, like any evidentiary hearings that they had and the replies that they put forward and all this stuff in the case against her or against Maxwell. Meanwhile, these are just kind of stuff that's available on the web already. And it looks like they went back and softened, well, we knew he was friends from this point on. We won't be able to hide it. So, well, let's hide the ones that were before that so we can lie about when they started hanging out, when they started flying together, and whether you could attach it to flights that he had made that were connector flights. And also, we know that Epstein flew on Trump's plane a few times. The question is, where did they go besides West Palm Beach? I want to say that one of these is the Trump ones in here. Hold on. Command plus. Alan Dershowitz. One male, one female. There's John Glenn on one flight. Two, but not back. Larry Shannon. Andy Stewart. There's a lot of 40 stuff. Right. Glenn Dubin and a baby and a nanny. Yeah. These have all been available, though. Oh, there's Selena Middlefart. Hey, look at that. So, for those of you who don't know, Selena Middlefart. I know, it's hilarious, right? Selena Middlefart. There she is again. Funny old Selena Middlefart. There's Selena again. She's flying on this one. She's back and forth a couple of times or whatever. Who the fuck is Selena Middlefart? Anybody? Yeah, that was Trump's girlfriend before Melania. Introduced to him by Jeffrey Epstein. This is whoops, get back in here, you crazy. There we go. So, for those of you that don't know, let me try back to here. Chat room. Selena Middlefart was Trump's girlfriend. There she goes. Meet Selena Middlefart, the glamorous Norwegian businesswoman Donald Trump allegedly dumped for Melania. She was dating him. She was basically assigned to him by, as a temp, probably, by Jeffrey Epstein to keep tabs on him. And yeah, so she met Trump in 98 at the Kit Kat Club in New York at a party thrown by Paolo Zampoli. This is the owner of the modeling agency. Their courtship story is a chase, it is a backdrop as louche. Donald saw Melania. Donald asked Melania for a number, but Donald had arrived with another woman, the Norwegian cosmetic heiress Selena Middlefart. So Melania refused. Donald persisted. Who is she? Middlefart, seriously, stop it. Now 43, born in Oslo, granddaughter of the founder of Middlefart Cosmetics. Huge, very successful. She became the company's chairwoman in 2000, 5 years after her father's death. She holds a BS from London School of Economics and earned a degree from NYU Stern School of Business in 98, which was funded by Epstein, insofar as we know. The NYU, at least the Stern School of Business one, It was while working at the latter she rented an apartment in Trump Tower and was linked to Donald himself, though he's always denied that they were romantically involved to the press. She also reportedly dated British pop star Robbie Williams and Håkon, Crown Prince of Norway. Today, she has one child with her partner, fellow Norwegian business magnate Tor Olav Trøim, like every other rich, beautiful heiress, whatever. Yeah. Oh, time check. Thank you very much. What time is it? Let's see. She's often in her homeland's press for titillating news as building a vacation home, carrying a fun and wacky handbag, or hiring a babysitter, childminder. In 2015, she broke 6 costume rules while wearing traditional dress and blah, 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 whatever. Anyway, she dated Trump for a while. That's her. And that's her and Robbie Williams or whatever. Yeah, she's a rich lady. And basically her schooling was paid for or guided by Epstein was the idea. And there she is in the fucking flight logs that we were just looking at. Selena Middlefart. What do you know? I gotta go. I got a show tonight. Patreon folks, we will see you this evening. And those that are showing up, I will talk to you guys there. I have a special gift for you when you arrive. Let me know. Don't let me forget afterwards, because I will, because my brain gets all caught up in stuff. And let me clarify something as best I can. The dust up with Zelensky today was to cover the fact that Pam Bondi shit the bed on the Epstein files, and MAGA is mad. And Trump has no intention of further incriminating himself in that world. And the more files come out, the more that will happen. And there's stuff, I would argue, even beyond that. If she asks for everything, regardless of where it gets, that means anything the FBI came up with that they either were thought was too sensitive, or they thought was fabricated, or they thought was, perhaps compromise or something, or was used as blackmail against Trump, and specifically for that reason, which they would keep out of a lot of these things as evidence, maybe to possibly in a blackmail trial later on or something like that. She wants all of it. She's not going to release all of it. She's going to do her best to hide Trump's part in it, or diminish or minimize his behavior around Epstein as much as possible. Same goes for Elon. So anyways, I love you guys. You guys are awesome. I will talk to you later. Let me start my background music because I can. Hold on. Get out of here. It's this little file. There we go. And until tomorrow, I'll see you guys on the radio show, the Housemarks radio program, Megaworldwide. Oh, and Andrea, we're going to use Ecamm tomorrow, so just a heads up. And I will talk to you guys then, and oh my gosh, and so much to do and other things. And now I got to relax before a show, and I got to remember to eat. That's very important. I've got to remember to eat. Because sometimes I don't. Hashtag Doge is a heist.
Free health care for illegal.
What?
Captain's log.
Michigan gave us Motang. Michigan gave us Motang. Michigan gave us Motang.
And you know, when you say per capita, there's many per capitas. It's like per capita relative to what? A lot of very bad things are happening in Nicaragua.
Michigan gave us Motang. Action replays in magnified portion. Action replays in magnified portion. Voila. Illegal. Deeper Visa. executives. So these Burmisia, they say, pronounce it Burmisia. To me, Corona means Italy.
Wow. I like wood, deeper and longer.
Here I am like an idiot. 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 They just explode. First new branch of the U.S. Armed Forces in 75 years, Space Force. Not since the immortal principles. Values.
I don't read, obviously.
They don't like the gas.
Sportos, motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebies, dickheads. They all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.